Hello and welcome. This is Chrisanne. I'm coming at you from Elemental Energies with Chrisanne. We are going to be doing another polymer clay video. Today we're going to be working with bezels, these bezel cups, and we're going to be doing a very simplistic nature scene using polymer clay inside the little bezel cups. These are not finished earrings, but they're going to be earrings. I'm going to have the ear wire here, and I'm going to dangle a bead here. In a little bit, it's not going to be right away, but in a little bit, I am going to be doing a video where I attach all the stuff to all the stuff. So that's not coming right up, but it will be coming. I am using some bezels that I got off of Primo not too long ago. Here's the item number. I want to say, was there 50 or 100 in this bag? And it was cheap. I don't know, it doesn't say. But there's all numbers if you want to go to Primo and look. So these are the ones that have the 2 hooks. So I'm going to do, like I said, earring finding here, bead here. So to make a pair of earrings, you're going to need 2. I'm going to move those right there. If you want, oh, wait a minute, before I get started, these are 1/2 inch, just the bezel, not including the little loops. So 1/2 inch, I'm in the US, so done in inches. Just so you know, that's the size. So it's approximately the size of a dime. If you want to add a little bit of glue, you can do a white glue like Joann's, Aleene's. You can do Aleene's, or you can do the the white glues that we use for our journals. So I have a palette of polymer clay. I am using Primo, here, Sculpey, Primo, that type of stuff. This one is the Primo Sculpey Accents. Those are the ones that I am using. I did get this conditioned ahead of time. So if you didn't see my last video with polymer clay, I showed kind of how to condition some of the clay. One of the tricks is you can carry it around in your pocket, in your pants pocket, for an hour or 2, and it will soften up. So I did pre-condition this before the video started, but nonetheless, I am sitting outside. So let's still make sure it's a little squishy. I am not going to use glue inside this one. This cup, the bezel cup, just has a slight little indentation to it, and I make sure it stays within the bezel. I have not had problems with it coming out. But if you feel like you want to add just a little bit of glue, if you don't have a bezel that you think it will stay in, do a little bit of the Aleene's tacky glue. So we are working with very basic colors to start with. I have some basic blue and I have some basic green. These are going to be the sky and the grass. We are also, oh, I should tell you my tools. We're also working with super basic tools. I have my sort of fancier polymer clay tools. We're not using those for this. I'm using really simple, basic tools. I have a weeding tool. I got this at Dollar Tree. So easy, has a great point on it, but it also has this nice part on it too. I have this wooden bamboo pointed piece. You could also use a toothpick. I don't know that I'm going to use it, but I have a bond folder. Okay. So let's do the sky first. So I'm kind of making this sort of basic shape. I'm putting it in the bezel and using that edge within the bezel, and I'm kind of pressing it up against that edge. The whole time that I'm doing this, I am going to be cleaning off this edge, no matter what color it is that I'm using. Pressing that in, pressing it up against that edge. See how I'm keeping that edge clean as I go. Let's do that with this one. I have my palette of colors right here. Let me just give this just a tinge more conditioning. Pushing that in, pushing it sort of under that ridge, kind of flattening it out. I mean, I can always go like that, or I can remove some of this if it's too much. I'm smoothing it out as I go too. I don't want, see like some of these lines and stuff, I don't want too many of those. So the warmth of my fingers is enough to just kind of, see this little piece isn't coming off. So let me take another piece of clay and just get it off there. Okay, so these are what we have so far. Let's take the green, give that just a tinge more condition. Do the exact same thing. I am overlapping. Pushing that in. It's up too high. Let me roll some of that down. You know, I use my fingernails as a tool. You can use whatever. And I'm just keeping, remember I'm keeping this edge clean. Oh, sorry, I don't know if that was in camera. Kind of smooth that out a little bit. So I have that so far. Let's do the same thing over here. Let me just remove some of this. See, I have that lump right there. Remove some of that. When I'm doing this, I'm pushing it down into this little bezel lip here. It's a little too much there, so I'm going to roll it down. I'm going to come in and I'm going to remove it. Smoothing off that edge. You pick up some of those little bits. That's what we have so far. That's pretty too, right there. Oh, you know what? I have a little piece right here. I don't like that. Remove that. Now, I like to give it a little bit of a texture. So I come in with my weeding tool. You can do any direction you want. I'm just giving this a little texture. Come back again, clean up that bezel. I'm going to do the exact same thing to the green. I'm going to put it down. I'm kind of blending that seam between the blue and the green. This is also pushing everything into place, pushing it down into the bezel. I'm using the weeding tool like this, upside down. Now, let me come back in, clean up that edge once more. There, I have that. Let's do the same thing. I'm keeping these little sort of hash marks kind of near each other. I like doing this texture because it shows, well look, you can see on my finished piece, if you look up here, see it shows. It kind of looks neat, I think. Come in and clean that off again. I am regularly keeping that edge clean as I go. To me, these colors and with this little texture on it reminds me of sort of Monet. Now, what I did on this one was I took a little bit of yellow. Let me do enough for 2 to make suns or moons or, you know, whatever. And let me roll it this way with my fingernail. I can divide it in half, and then I can make 2 little circle balls. Because I'm making earrings, I like them on opposite sides. It's up to you. You can do what you want. You want to make a pendant, it doesn't matter. And let's put one right there. And put one right there. Let me kind of match where they're at. Kind of squish them down. I'm going to texture these, but opposite directions. So I'm going to do this sort of like an up and down texture, as opposed to the initial texture I did to the background was a side by side. Not only is that giving it texture, but it's also adhering it to the clay below it. You want to stop here, whatever, do whatever makes you happy. That's what it looks like so far. There. Now, I am going to do some sort of exaggerated vine kind of lines, and I'm going to do them with this. The turkeys are out back banging on something again. They're either banging on our cars or they're banging on... They're crazy turkeys, I'm telling you. Now I'm going to make a really long... Oh, you can't see that, sorry. I'm going to make a really long snake. Thin, thin, thin. I'm going to cut it in half to make it more usable, because I want it thinner than that. I know you can't, you can't see what I'm doing. Okay. This is where it gets tricky to work with, at least for me. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to make one of these into a little twirl if I can. And then I'm going to push, whoops, push that down kind of into the blue. Pull it down. I'm trying to get it where you can see it. Pull it down. Come back over here, make this a better tip. Push that down. Make that a better little end. I mean, if you want to do little curly cues on all of them, go ahead. You want to cover the sun, moon, you can do that. And just keep something's flying over. Keep adding those. Whoops. Now I want to press down here, remove. Whoops. Okay, that's what I have so far. They're not really pushed down yet. Don't worry about that. They will be. Let me do the other one so we can get this somewhat matching because we're making earrings. Now, I want to do that little twirly thing. Almost like a fiddlehead. There. Now let's put this over there. Whoops. Put that there, kind of overlap that sun, moon, whatever it is. There's a little piece of something there. Yeah. I didn't like what that was. Now some people pick these little strands up with their weeding tool and they do it that way. I've never been good at that. You do what works for you. There's that. Now let's clean up this edge. So let's press these down and pull them over the edge. There. Clean up all the little bits on my finger. Now, the next thing that I want to do is I have this green that I created by taking a little bit of this and a little bit of this and combining them. And I created a different green. So I didn't have to go out and buy a ton of colors. I mixed it, mixed it, mixed it, mixed it, mixed it. till it came out like this. So if you know your color mixing stuff, you could do this. Now I don't need a ton. This probably is enough for both actually. So let me turn it into a ball and then like a little bit of a sausage. And then I'm just gonna put this at the bottom, just like that. And let me grab this other one. Take this little sausage, put this at the bottom, just like that. So they're both like that. Now, I'm gonna get my weeding tool. Now I'm gonna do this in another opposite direction. I am going to press this down. I'm not worried about this bottom edge. Where's my thing here? If I want to hold this here, I can. So you can see something better. So I'm pushing this in and I'm pulling it down at like this angle. So I'm coming onto that lip, that metal bezel lip. This is attaching those green vine things, at least at the base. And look, I'm cutting it off right at that edge. I'm going to add it back to that green right there. So I'm using a little bit of force, a little bit of pressure. Cleaning off this edge, putting it back in that almost sea moss kind of color pile. And then I'm going to come in with the tip. And I'm going to kind of give it another sort of slight different directions. Point to the right, point to the left. Clean up the base. So now let's clean up all this bottom right here. And if there's a spot that I see that, oh, you know, I'd like a little bit more, I can add a little bit more. I'll put this down here. And then I'm just gonna press that little bit in. And then come in and clean up that edge. There. Now, so it has multiple layers of different greens. We're going to do the same thing here because it's a pair of earrings, so everything has to get duplicated. Pushing it down in and pulling it away from that silver bezel. You get a little bit more angled up that way. Kind of pushing it in. Oops. Kind of pushing it in. And now pulling it down and texturing it. And then I always add this back to that little pile. I want to get rid of those little bits as much as I can, so I don't have to clean them all up later. See, like right here, and then let's clean up this edge. Clean up this edge. Once again, I use my fingernail. There. You like it like that? You can leave it like that. What I did is I took a little bit of red and a little bit of blue, because if you know, if you paint or whatever, you get purple. So I have this purple, which I'm going to condition once again, and that's how I did these little purple dot flowers. And I'm just getting this conditioned, but I didn't even make that much, and this is going to last quite a while, frankly. So let me just pinch off the teeniest amount. Tiny little ball. Tiny. Oh, sorry. Tiny. Press that there. Same thing. Teeny. I mean, it looks so tiny here, but then when you get it on your piece, it looks huge. Let's see, we'll put a piece here. There. There, and then I think on both of them we'll put one sort of in the middle of that sun moon. This piece is even too big. Divide it in half. You can roll it on your tile, you can roll it on your hand. Now, what I did is you could either take your bamboo thing, you can take your toothpick, you can take your weeding tool. I come in right in the center of the purple dot. I press it in, pull it up. Let me give it just a little bit of a press. Let me give this a little bit of a press just with the back of my weeding tool. And then I come in, go right through everything, giving it a press. So I ran in right through the center. Now I can come in and I can sort of have a little piece of something here. Press it all in. If I want to reestablish that little hole in the middle of my sort of flowers, I'm calling them flowers. That's what you do. Now let's do that over here. Let's give them a little bit of a push down with the back of the weeding tool. Then I'm going to come with the tip, press it down. Come with the tip, press it down. Come with the tip, press it down. Give them a little bit more of a push. Now, if I want to come in with resin or something afterwards, I certainly can. I'm not sure that I'm going to, in all honesty. There's that one. Here, let me hold the pear up. That's it. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to bake these 275 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm in the United States. 275 Fahrenheit, and I'm going to bake them for an hour. And what I do is I put a piece of tin foil over them. I bake them on a tile. I have these white subway tiles. I bake them on a tile. I put a piece of tin foil over it and I tent it. And what does that mean? It means I don't lay the piece of tin foil flat over it. I put a little bit of a bump in the middle of the tin foil, put that over that and smooth it out over the edges. I don't tuck it in around the tile. I just lay it flat around the tile here, but right here the tin foil is just a little tented, just a little bit up, as opposed to being, it's not flat, it's tented. And an hour. And that's what these are. And they're looking pretty darn good, I think. They're staying in there, nothing sort of wiggling or coming out or anything. So there's my project. So we got the clay part of the earrings done in roughly a half an hour. Now we do still need to come back in and do the dangling of the beads and do the ear wires. That's going to be a whole other video where I'm going to do other types of findings that I'm going to attach to other pieces as well, because I have a whole bunch of things that need earrings or bails or whatever attached to them. So that is our project for today. I hope you enjoyed. Please check out my website, www.elementalenерgieswithchrisanne.com. You can book a private psychic reading with me. You can purchase crystals, tons of tarot oracle decks. You can purchase my art. I also have some classes that you can purchase there, but I also have free classes. How to use a pendulum, guided meditations, and free downloadable printables as well. Please subscribe to this channel. I would appreciate it. I need to get my numbers way up. And check out my Instagram and Blue Sky at Chrisanne1234 for both of them. Thanks so much for tuning in. Take care. Be free.